Welcome to the LMU Women's Basketball Report for December 8th. I'm Scott Erland in here with head coach Crystal Evans to catch up. Coach, we had to push this back to Thursday for a lot of things that were going on at the beginning of the week, but here we are and got a lot to talk about. So, you know, last week we did this, you guys were undefeated, and now we're back here on Thursday, and you guys are still undefeated, 3 games in 5 days at Tex Turner Arena, and really, as it's gone for most of the season so far, everything went about as good as you could have hoped for. A 73-51 win over Lenoir Ryan, 83-62 win over Coker, and then a 94-65 win over Brevard. You had, like we said, 3 games in 5 days, and your team really performed admirably. So just kind of talk about that week a little bit.
Well, I definitely think it was a tough week because, again, like you said, 3 in 5 days, but also too they were preparing for finals, and matter of fact, on Monday, every single one of my players had a final that morning. And then we played against Brevard that evening. So to say that, you know, we're lucky to pull out those victories, it definitely speaks to the heart of this team, because I'm telling you, in that shoot-around on Monday, they just looked totally mentally fried. And the fact that they were able to push through that and come out and perform Monday night just speaks volumes to their character. And so I'm very proud of what they were able to do, because I mean we were sore and the girls were tired, and they've been cramming for exams, so they haven't been getting proper sleep, and they've got all these papers and things due, and so you know, again, having 3 games in 5 days isn't necessarily, I mean, you think of a conference tournament, I mean that's what it's going to be. You're playing back-to-back nights and things like that, but the fact that they were doing it in exams, you know, right there with it, I think that, again, they just really pushed through, and I'm really proud of their effort. Well,
and it's obviously kind of weird playing on a Monday. We get so used to that rhythm of, especially in conference play, of Wednesday and then Saturday. So how strange was it to have to not only, you know, you rebound after the Coker win, and then you only have that Sunday to really kind of, you really can't even do anything with the girls that day. It's just kind of preparing for Brevard and then get ready for a game on Monday. How strange is that?
Well, just that one-day preparation, really, honestly, it was like we were going through the motions, and they were present, but the brain really wasn't turned on, and so it's definitely one of those things that can get a little bit scary, just from my perspective and our staff's perspective, because we were like, you know, again, we only had that one day to prepare. We need to make the most of that one day. And so, and Brevard's not a team. Like, they can get hot quickly. And, you know, Madison Lennox is a great player, and she did a great job against us. And so it's not, you know, you can't look past anybody in this conference. And, you know, I just wanted to make sure that our focus was there, and we were as prepared as possible. And, however, there were some things that we did let slide in the game, and so obviously they didn't pick up on everything in that practice. But at the end of the day, again, I'm still proud of being able to pull out that victory.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the Brevard games, since the Lenoir Ryan games and Coker games have got a little bit further in the rearview mirror. You scored 94 points in that game, and really was a dominant performance. You know, you get up 22-10 in the first quarter, and then really never let up. The game was really never in question after that. So just kind of, I want to talk mainly, though, about the performance from Shay Coker, who had a great week overall, was named Holiday Tire Rails Player of the Week, had 18 points in that game. So talk about her efforts last week and then that game against Brevard.
Well, Shay, I'll just talk to you about Shay overall. Shay, her freshman year, I think that, you know, just being scared or playing scared never even crossed her mind. You know, Shay's a scorer, and so that was always in her mind to do. And then I think her sophomore year, she started thinking too much, and she started, you know, well, what exactly does coach want from me? What exactly, you know, is expected of me, and that sort of thing. And so we've worked really hard over the summer, and just throughout last year, and even going into this season, just, Shay, you know, just play ball. Just, you know, get out there. You're a scorer, and that's what you do, and that's what you bring to this team. And, you know, get out there and play ball. And she's just taking it to a different level, and her confidence, and you can see it in the games. I mean, her confidence is just it's climbing every single game, and which, again, is exciting for a coach, but dang on it, for anybody that's playing against us, I would be scared, because that kid, you could see it in her eyes. She wants the ball, she hunts the ball, she makes great cuts, she's doing a great job rebounding, and she's just finding different ways to score, and and so I'm very proud of her, and two, something that a lot of people don't know, Shay's in the gym all the time. I mean, that kid works her tail off. And so the fact that the pieces are kind of falling in place for her, I just couldn't be any more, happy for that kid, because she's a good kid. She works hard, and this is important to her, and she really wants it. She wants us to have a good season, and she puts the work into it. And, so again, I'm glad that, she's coming together. But as far as Brevard's game, I mean, Shay just came out, and for whatever reason that they win a couple possessions in zone, and you can see her face just light up when people go in zone against us, because she's she hit 2 shots quickly, and then they got out of the zone, and and she always tells me all the time, like people can't place in zone, because she's gonna hit it, and she's gonna, she takes pride in that, and so I just think that's great, and so she's came up big for us in the last few games, and I feel like she's nowhere near stopping.
When you had mentioned that confidence, and it's something that you can really see in her play, she's shooting 50% this year, almost 50% from the three-point line, and there's only been 2 games all season that she hasn't shot above 50%, and then had 2 60% performances again this last week. What kind of has maybe changed for her between last year and this year, besides just the hard work she's put in? It just does seem like, is it maybe just that sophomore to junior year jump where all of a sudden she knows that she's going to be relied on more heavily? Or is it just, has she just gained just this burst of confidence?
I think it's just the burst of confidence. I think just last year, again, instead of doing, I think Shay put too much pressure on herself, and she was trying to do things that kind of, really wasn't her strength, and didn't really know what was expected of her, and kind of questioned herself. And then too, I was frustrated, and she was frustrated, and so I think that just kind of hurt her confidence a little bit, and then so I've been trying along with my staff to really Shay, this is what we're expecting of you. This is what we want from you. This is your job. You're a scorer, and that doesn't mean I think for a time there last year, Shay thought she was just a 3-point shooter. But Shay can take it to the hole. Shay can. She's a slasher. I mean, she can score in multiple different ways, and I think that and she knows that. And I think that once we just kept reiterating, Shay, you can do more. You can do more. And she knows she can, and she's just the kids put in the work. I mean, even last year, you didn't transfer maybe to the court, but daggone it, that kid works, and I'm just glad it's transferring now. But I just think it's her confidence. I mean, she knows what's expected of her. She knows what she's supposed to do. She knows that she's looking for her shot, and I tell her all the time, how can you get yourself to score? How can you get yourself a basket, whether it be, getting to the line, whether it be getting a layup, a mid-range. I mean, Shay can do it all. She can, not many players can do the mid-range jumper, and that's her specialty, So, I mean, she can get to the layup, mid-range. She's got the three-pointer. She can attack off the dribble. I mean, she's just an all-around great scorer, and I just think that, the light bulbs come on, and she realized what's expected of her, and her confidence is just there. And every game that she's doing it, it's just increasing more and more with her confidence.
Well, and then obviously Shay's not the only one doing the scoring. You've got 6 girls scoring at least 6 points per game right now, averaging 80 points per game, which is, I tweeted this out yesterday, was the 6th most in program history right now, the most since the 90-91 season. Kind of what is going well for you guys offensively? I mean, a lot of it is offensive rebounds. You get a lot of second chance opportunities, but at the same time, what all has really come together for you guys offensively so far in these first 9 games?
Well, I just think we've been working a lot on shooting. That was obviously something that plagued us last year. I mean, our outside scoring just, is very inconsistent. There would be games that we would, have it, and there would be games that it would be non-existent for several games, and so it was kind of like a roller coaster. And so we've been working on a lot of different things. But I think the girls, this group of girls, they enjoy each other. They get along really well. Our chemistry is great, and I think that carries over to the court. Also, too, I just think that we've been really pushing the ball and finding different ways to score. and I would love to say that we run offense. We don't. We're a first pass type, shoot it, and obviously we need to get better and a little bit more patient. But I can't be mad because our shot selection is good. I mean, we're not forcing shots. We're taking wide open shots, and that's something that we work on a lot too, about just reading the defense. If the defense collapse, finding the open player, and we're making that extra pass this year that we didn't last year. And so, I mean, I just think that we found a little niche of ours, and we're sticking to it.
Well, and then here's something I want to talk about, which as a coach, you're always going to be a perfectionist, so there's always looking for ways you guys can get better. But right now, things have gone as good as you could have hoped for through 9 games. 9-0, leading the conference right now in scoring margin, average margin of victory, 17 points per game. But through the first 9 games, where have you really seen where you'd like to clean up, and there are areas where you can get better and improve?
Well, there's 2 areas that we talk about a lot here, especially in the last 2 weeks. And I tell the girls, just we were looking at the rankings, but as a team where we're at, not necessarily the polls or anything, but just where are we at compared to all the other teams across the nation? There's 302 Division II teams. And where do we stand in what categories? And for the most part, like with assists and rebounds and free throw percentage and all that, we're one of the, not necessarily top teams, but top 100 teams in most categories. But the 2 categories that we're doing the poorest in is turnovers and fouls. And I mean, and it's true, and it shows up in our stats all the time. And I've been telling the girls, matter of fact, in fouls, we are 298 out of 302. I mean, my gosh, and I was just like, y'all look, these are some areas that we definitely need to clean up on, and the numbers don't lie. And so we're going to get into a game, and it gets to a tight game, and here we're making these careless fouls and putting them at the free throw line. It's going to hurt us. It's going to end up getting us beat. Or on the flip side of it, we're making these careless turnovers, and it's going to get us beat. And now the turnovers, I don't think we're 298, but we're in the 200s, and that's still unacceptable for what we're trying to accomplish as a team. And so those are things that we're trying to clean up. There's some details that, like defensively, that we're still trying to work on. Just making sure that we've got good habits. I mean, overall, I feel like our defense is getting better and better each game, but there are certain things that, I just feel like we can perfect and move on. But definitely turnovers and fouls right now.
Well, let's talk about what's coming up for you guys. You don't play again until a week from yesterday. Nice little break after, really being busy since the season kicked off on November 11th. And you really have a tough stretch coming up here before the Christmas break. Go on December 14th, you go to Wingate. And then December 17th, you're back here against Newberry. Those teams are combined 5-2 right now in conference play, so talk about the challenge of those 2 teams coming up.
Well, I just think Wingate is such a great team, and they've been playing so well, and we've been watching film on them and everything, and Wingate's always a tough matchup for us. And then to go play there, last year we lost in double overtime at their place, and so it's just, I think it's, they're beatable, but we are too. I mean, like I said, in our conference is so tough that you just never know on any given night who's going to show up and who's really going to play their best basketball. So I'm just hoping that, again, we're trying to control the boards, because that's rebounding's always, been a crucial part of our game plan. And I just really think that if we were able to pull out a victory at Wingate, especially following these finals week, I think that just will give us that little push that we need to face Newberry coming in here. Newberry, it's Wingate and Newberry are 2 totally different teams. So playing them back to back, I mean, our game plan is going to be totally different for both of them. Matter of fact, Wingate's got Marta, the big 6'5", 6'6" post player, and she's been playing great this season, and she's definitely a force to be reckoned with there in the paint. And then you turn over to Newberry, and they've got Meg Essex, and she's doing a great job too. But I think they've just got more 3-point shooters around Meg, so you can't necessarily focus on Meg, because if you collapse on her, then they've got all these 3-point shooters and kicking it out and stuff like that. So it's just, they're 2 totally different teams, and we're gonna have to just be really disciplined in our game plan.
Well, and then how nice is this to actually get this break right here? I mean, I know it's the middle of finals week for the girls, but we're at the tail end of it now, filming this on a Thursday. So how nice is it to kind of finally get to step back and stop just preparing for a moment and actually clean up some of those areas? You talked about the turnovers, you talked about the foul prone. How nice is that to have that chance?
No, it's great because, again, I mean, obviously they're focusing on finals, and now I gave them off Tuesday, and really yesterday they just had an individual workout, so it wasn't too tough. And, I wanted them to finish strong in the classroom just as much as we do on the court. So, I mean, hopefully that'll give them that chance. But to really start, to finish finals and totally focus on the rest of our season and work on those areas is definitely important.